Okay, today is January 4th, so this is going to be my first hike of 2026. And as you can see, I'm at the Chubb Trail, West Tyson Trailhead, which we're in Lone Elk Park, but I drove past the main entrance and came to this one, and I'm going to walk this trail to the Castlewood Loop and then loop around Castlewood and head back out. Just to me, that seems like it might make it a little bit more interesting. You can see we're at the Chubb's Shelter, and to get to here you take Interstate 44 west of St. Louis and come out to Lewis Road. I think it's exit number 270, and then you'll come out to this trail here. I've never been on it before, but we're going to see what it's like. Once again, this is a very well maintained St. Louis County trail, and I'm rather impressed about how well they keep their trails. You can see it's really well defined. You can probably only get lost on it maybe if it was snow covered and everything. But one thing, I want to take some film at the beginning of this hike, but the ground was pretty sloppy muddy, so I didn't want to lose my footing there. But from that parking lot, you start right away on a uphill grade. It's nothing super steep, but you'll definitely notice it in your legs. And now that we've appeared to get maybe towards a little bit of the top of the hill, things are leveling out and looking relatively leisurely right now. So, but it's good. You're going to run into your trail roots and your rocks and things, but nothing too crazy on this trail. At least not as of yet, but I don't think so. And like many of my other recent little hikes around St. Louis, we will come across the Merrimack River on this one. And it's really kind of cool to think of how many rivers we have right here in the St. Louis area. Yeah, this is kind of what I'm talking about right here. It was a little bit worse than this because it was much stickier, but you do kind of have to watch your footing. Okay, this is interesting right here, and I'm not exactly sure what it means. The trail keeps going on this way, so I'm going to keep going. The trail I have navigated or routed out keeps going this way. So I'm assuming it's okay to keep going on here. I've had two trail runners run by me already, and they haven't stopped. So I think it's okay. Just kind of a weird sign to put up there when someone like me can't really figure out what its purpose is. There's another one over here. It says I'm leaving West Tyson Park. So I don't know if I'm on private property right now that they've allowed to catch up with the park over here on the other side for a little bit, or what. Right past that sign is where this trail got a little bit confusing. I couldn't tell if I was supposed to step over the tree and head that way, or if I was supposed to come up the hill and head this way. You can see with all the leaves, there's nothing really built. It makes it look. Now to me, it looks like the trail is heading this way, but I'm not completely sure. I'll let you know what I find out when I get over there and see if we're back on trail or not. So I went ahead and walked back down the hill, and there's that tree I thought I might need to step over way back there. And my Garmin confirmed once I came down here that I was back on course. But it actually looks more like a trail when I show it through the camera than it does here. So I'm going to walk a little bit more this way. Hopefully things will become more apparent here pretty quickly. All right, once again, my Garmin is telling me I'm on course, but I really don't see any trail here, and I don't want to get out here and get a little bit lost. So what I think I'm going to do today is I'm going to bail on this hike and maybe come back in the spring when there's not as many leaves on the trail, so I can tell where the heck I'm going. And instead of getting lost, I know I can go right up to the primary point of Lone Elk Park and just get a quick little hike in there. And so we'll start that one up later. Right here, right at this fallen tree is where I lost sight of the trail. I do kind of think it's going to weave and go down that way somehow, but as the leaves got thicker, I just lost it. I've never been on this trail before, and it is still winter, so it's going to get dark earlier, and I wanted to try to get about 10-11 miles today, but I didn't want to do any of it in the dark and on a trail that I didn't know. So I think I'm doing the prudent thing for my level of experience and capability. I turned around. I know the main entrance to Lone Elk Park is just up the road here, and so I'm going to jump on the excuse me, the Chubb Trail there and just kind of see where it takes me. Now, I don't have that one routed out in my Garmin at all, but that'll be okay. I'm hoping, because it's the primary entrance to the park and everything, that it'll be very easy and we'll be back to this. So I am very close to being back into the St. Louis County Park system. That little sign I showed you earlier, but should be good to roll. Well, change of plan again. Luckily, I ran into someone who's more experienced with this trail, and where that white sign was, you were supposed to pretty much make a U-turn to stay on the Chubb Trail, which if I would have just turned and looked around, I would have seen that, but I didn't notice that until he came walking up that way. And now you can see everything is completely well defined, but it's easy enough to get off and go straight ahead, because that's what it looks like you're supposed to do. But really, you're supposed to make that quick turn. So when you see that white sign in the video that has like an upside down bow tie on it or whatever, not the most descriptive sign, but my fault still, know that you're supposed to take a little U-turn there and loop around, which means we are now going downhill into the gully. So this is going to be fun coming up at the end of the day. But I don't think I wasted too much time, maybe 15-20 minutes. So hopefully I can still get this one done. Okay, it is about 1:30 in the afternoon, and I am only about probably 3 miles into this hike. So obviously bit off a little bit more than I can chew today, and you can see this is a long descent here. So I'm hoping right now to go a final 2 miles to the start of the loop up here, but from there I'll just turn around and go back. I won't be able to have time to go around the loop. One of these days I have to come out here and start a bit earlier than what I did, because it's going, or come on, it's not going to get dark so early. It's going to start getting dark here by about 4:30, and I don't want to be stuck out here trying to find a trail in the dark, as I said earlier. So let's see how far we can get, but 2:30 is now my cutoff time to turn around. Well, now the trail is turning into this kind of bottomland area, so we must be getting close to the Merrimack River. We'll see. We'll see up ahead here. And something tells me I've been on this part of the trail before, but a long time ago with a friend of mine that was a runner. But I could obviously be wrong there too. It's been so long since I've been out here. Right over there, the hills I came down from and winded around on. I think my car is back over that way, but we have to loop through there and then loop through another hill to get over to it. So the hike on the way back is going to be a little bit strenuous. And then I'm curious, does this trail come up here and cross the railroad tracks? I think it does. I don't know if you can see those electrical boxes, but on the other side of it right there are some railroad tracks. Yeah, so you'll come by this little gate here. Old abandoned home of some sort. And then right up here to the railroad tracks. Oh, this must be another trailhead right here that you can come to. So I started at the West Tyson trailhead. The Lone Elk trailhead is up ahead. And like I said, I don't think I'm going to get that far today. But I can get another hour in and then I got to turn around. To me, it's always interesting when I come upon something like this. It's hard to believe that someone lived here so much longer than I have, and that it was a very, very good thing that they found this area. So that bridge over there, God, I don't even know if you can see it through the trees, must be the Merrimack River. I don't know how close I'll get to it. This obviously here, this overflow spillway. It's not the Merrimack River. So the Merrimack River's got to be about 50 yards straight ahead, right through there. So hopefully they'll run me by it. If not, that's why I'd like to stop and take a little break, get a drink, and have a snack. But if not, I'll just turn around and head home here in a few minutes. Oh, okay, I am 4 miles in, and I think I'm going to take a break, get a little snack, and turn around and head back. I am more concerned about it being dark than anything else. I know I took a little bit of the wrong option on the trail here, so when I get back to those railroad tracks, I want to look and see if there's another way to go. I'm not going to take it, but that way I'll know for future reference. So the day wouldn't have been a waste. It never is when you get to spend it out in the on a trail like this. But that's what I'm going to do, refuel a little bit, and then head back the other way. Excuse me, because I know I got some pretty big hills headed my way. So we'll stop right here and get back to the car. Okay, we're heading back. The railroad tracks are behind me. And the first step after this little bit of a short section here is going to be a doozy. We're going to walk back up to the top of these hills here before we get to flatten out and walk around nice and easily. And then we'll go up and down a few times after that. So got a little bit of work cut out for us, but it'll be good. Here's the intersection that I showed you at the top. This isn't the intersection, but at the top they have one that says no horses as well. And the horse trail must be this one here, and the people trail is this one here, which is the one I took down. I'll show you what I'm talking about at the top, but this is where they come together and bring you down there from where I just came from. Okay, please remember I am working my way back, and I'm not coming from that direction. I'm coming this way, but that was the narrowest part of the trail. I didn't really notice it going out, but as I'm walking this way, I noticed, like this is wide compared to that back there. But you can see we're at the top of that hill. I was down there somewhere working towards the Merrimack River when I was crossing those railroad tracks, and the trail kind of came up from that direction and wound its way around here. Now we're back up at the top, and it's going to remain relatively flat for maybe half to 3/4 of a mile, and then we'll start heading down before we, I think, head up one last time. But I should look and see where we are. I will by the time we get there. Well, I got 2.33 miles left to go according to my track back, so we're almost halfway back. Okay, right here is the T at the top of the hill. I don't know if you see a little sign. I'll walk up to it. Here, that is the horse trail, and you want to head over there and down that way for the human trail. So we can see that the trail right here follows right along the top of the hill here, which is nice. And when I say hill, the elevation, if I recall, when I set this one up, was 900 to 1,000 feet. So no, it's nothing like when I go out to the Grand Canyon or the Sierras or anything like that. But it's still a good strong hike. And I'm going to feel these 8 miles tomorrow. So I'm glad I got to come out here and do it, because not only that, I did learn a couple things, like I better figure out the trail a little bit better before I headed off, instead of just throwing it together real quick the night before and throwing it on my Garmin and hoping it works out. I need to do a little bit more research so that I can get the most out of my hikes. All right, that is 4 miles in and out on the Chubb Trail. And I apologize, guys. I'm a little tired or a little off or something today. Didn't get as much interesting stuff as I would have liked, but you got a little idea of this trail. This is going to be kind of like when I went out west and didn't finish Mount Whitney. I got to come back out here and figure this one out a little bit more and do a little bit more on it and share it with you. But until then, you know where we started and where we ended, and I hope you have a great 2026, and we'll be out on the trails again soon.